Hey everyone, okay, so today I'm going to be going through a super budge-proof, everything-proof makeup tutorial so that your makeup will look as flawless as the moment you've done it, right the way till the end of the day. I absolutely swear. And this video came about because I was reading how top celebrity makeup artists achieve those kind of looks that absolutely last and last and last, particularly on celebrities who are performance artists. They're performing on stage, there's lots of lights and sweat and how the makeup holds up. So this is a variation on all of that. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime the skin. Now I'm going to be using Skindinavia, the makeup primer spray, and I'm going to spray this all over my face. And I'm going to go through all of this in sections with you so you can kind of really get the best results from it. So I'm going to spray this a few times all over the face, and what this is going to do is allow the makeup that I start to apply to really adhere to the skin, because that's what we need, is this adherence where everything stays put and will not move. So I'm going to spray this all across my face a few times. I'm just going to let it sink in. So what I'm going to do is apply layers of makeup. I'm going to do one layer all over the face. Then I'm going to repeat, and you're going to see this process of how we're going to achieve this really flawless but also unmovable makeup application. So I'm just going to take a brush and I'm going to apply some foundation on my skin, and I'm going to do not a really heavy layer because I am going to layer this. So just in the center, and then we'll blend it. So this is where the technique starts to change. We're going to take a sponge. Now this is damp. You're going to take a setting spray. Now I'm using Skindinavia again, the makeup finishing spray. And what you want to do is you want to spray this onto the sponge, and you really want to saturate this product. This is what's going to differentiate this makeup tutorial from many others, is that we're setting the sponge with the spray, we're saturating it. Now we're going to start to blend. And the reason that we're doing this is because I've talked about this setting spray for a long time, that it's what I use to make sure that makeup doesn't go anywhere. But by setting the sponge, we are adding layers of this product, and it's just going to create this kind of web over the skin where everything is being held in place to a degree that we wouldn't get otherwise. So this is the first layer. So I'm now going to kind of take a little look at my face and see the areas where I know I need extra coverage, and then we're going to just build on those areas. And again, I'm spraying the sponge because we're going in with a second layer, and this time I'm more stippling over the areas that I've just applied the extra product. So the skin's looking really good. Now I'm going to go in with concealer. So I'm going to use kind of just in this section more than, I'm not going to actually go underneath all this way. I really want to add a bit of light to this section of the face. Now we're going to start to repeat processes. Setting spray, spraying it onto the sponge, and then I'm going to use this to blend this concealer and to set the concealer so that it doesn't move. Okay, concealer done. Now we're going to start to apply a little bit of color and contrast to the skin. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to apply a little bit of a cream blusher, and I'm just going to apply that to the kind of top area of the cheek. So just want to add a bit of color here. Now I'm going to start with a bit of contour as well. So I'm applying this with the same brush, and I'm just going from the outside corner where I want it to be the strongest. And I'm going to go just into the temple. And this is just to add dimension to the skin. Now we're going to repeat the process by saturating the sponge and using this to blend and set the contour and the blusher. And now I'm going to use the other side to lightly blend out the blusher and then going over it again. So everything's cohesive. And we're just ensuring here that every layer that we apply is set, if that makes sense. So we're applying these small layers, then we're immediately setting them with the setting spray, and this is what's going to create this budge-proof base. And the thing that's different about it, because there's so many setting sprays on the market, but the reason I've talked about Scandinavia so long is that this isn't, most setting sprays just get rid of the powdery residue, whereas this actually does that, but it sets the makeup. That's what's different from all the others that claim to be setting sprays when they're not. They're just adding silicones that get rid of the powdery finish, but you need something that's actually going to set the makeup. And Scandinavia has a technology which is a temperature control technology, which is basically means that it keeps the makeup cool, it keeps the skin cool, which is what's going to keep it all here and adhered all day long. So with these layers applied and blended, what I'm going to do next is start to set with powder, because we're really going for this ultra long wear finish. So I'm using RCMA and I'm using the no color powder. I'm going to spritz the sponge just a little bit again, and I'm just dipping it into the powder. And now I'm going to pat this all over the face. This is just giving me that extra insurance that everything is going to stay in place. Now I already know it's going to because of all the layers that we've done with the setting spray, but this is really ensuring that we're getting the ultimate hold. So now we're going to build even more color. Now you know that this looks absolutely flawless. It's not going to crease underneath the eyes. We've used concealer, we've used foundation, we've set it all. You know, the spray itself is not tacky, that's why it feels so good on the skin. So now we're going to start with more layers. So I'm applying a little bit of a powder bronzer, really lightly, just to the temple area here. Just on the cheek, not trying to contour, just adding a bit of color. So I'm going to apply blusher, and I'm just going to use a smattering just along the cheek area. And I always go up slightly into the temples. Now I'm going to take a highlighter and apply this with the same brush, and I'm applying this kind of over in that same direction that I applied the blusher. So not high up on the cheekbones. I'm just wanting to go over the area so that everything is really morphed into it. Now I'm going to take the same sponge and I'm just going to really lightly spray it, and now I'm going to pat over these areas. Now we're going to do some brows, because product gets caught in the brows, so we need to bring them back to life. So I'm just using a brow gel, not trying to overly sculpt the brows. I just want to make sure that any product from foundation is removed and the sort of color, natural color of our brows comes back. So now I've curled the lashes and applied the faintest amount of mascara. And just to finish the look, we're talking just one extra added insurance. We're just going to use the finishing spray just to set everything. Any powder residue that may be there, everything's going to be gone. So I'm going to go in a T and then an X, and then just let that evaporate. And that's the look. This makeup is budge proof. It will not move, it will not smear or fade or crease. Everything is now set. And you know, I've been talking about makeup for 7 or 8 years now. I've been talking about Scandinavia for the length of that time since I began YouTube. It's the one product that I know that I can use that's going to create this longevity. That's why we're applying layers of makeup and setting everything as we go. Now, if you don't want to go through all this kind of routine, you absolutely don't have to. You can still get exceptional hold on makeup just by using the setting spray alone. But this tutorial is really aimed at giving you that budge-proof, smear-proof, crease-proof makeup that so many of you have been asking me about, and this is how you get it, and you can look absolutely flawless, and this is not going to move at all, ever. All the information is in the description bar below, along with a code for a discount. Yay! So let me know what you think. Look forward to reading your comments, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.